critical race theory. I thought they didn't teach critical race theory until they went to, like, law school or something.
That's right.
I sure hope not, because I'm not certain 7-year-olds need to learn it.
It just sounds crazy to me.
Somehow, white people now have to feel guilty for everything that happened in the past. I don't think that's very productive.
In Greenwich, a white bias survey is handed out to 7th grade English class.
Yeah.
In Cupertino, California, in an elementary school, 3rd graders are instructed to rank themselves based on their power and their privilege.
I grew up in segregated Birmingham, Alabama. My parents never thought I was going to grow up in a world without prejudice, but they also told me that's somebody else's problem, not yours. You're going to overcome it, and you are going to be anything you want to be.
What's going on, guys? So we got to talk about Condoleezza Rice. This is another example of a black female conservative who actually has been around for quite a long time. Okay, she was previously the Secretary of the State, and she actually was like the past version, so to speak, of Candace Owens, if you want to make a direct comparison. Okay, very heavily criticized, of course, called every name in the book, called a sellout, a raccoon, and all kinds of other very heinous and much more malicious things than I dare repeat on this channel. Okay, so I got to react to her having a conversation with The View. Okay, these radical leftists, before they were quite as radical of leftists, before they became like these kind of far leftist progressives and kind of sleepwalked off a cliff, they discussed critical race theory. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it.
The whole issue of critical race theory and what is and is not being taught. I come out of an academic institution, and this is something that academics debate, what is the role of race and so forth. And let me be very clear. I grew up in segregated Birmingham, Alabama. I couldn't go to a movie theater or to a restaurant with my parents. I went to segregated schools till we moved to Denver. My parents never thought I was going to grow up in a world without prejudice, but they also told me that's somebody else's problem, not yours. You're going to overcome it, and you are going to be anything you want to be. And this
is something that they don't want people to believe in this modern time. Like, look at Joe Biden when he gave a speech at Morehouse College, where he was effectively telling black males that they could not be everything that they wanted to be because they were black.
It's natural to wonder if democracy you hear about actually works for you. What is democracy? If black men are being killed in the street, what is democracy? The trail of broken promises still leave black communities behind. What is democracy? You have to be 10 times better than anyone else to get a fair shot.
These are not the type of messages that you want young men to feel and believe and have them feel a sense of hopelessness due to their race. You want to uplift them and have them believe in themselves. Like, that's one of the most simplest concepts of people growing up, or really anyone in general, is that if you believe in yourself, you tend to go a lot further than if you just like throw your hands in the air like, oh, dang it, I was born black. Gosh, freaking darn it. I guess that's it. I guess my life is just going to be miserable and broke and poor, and everybody's going to hate me because I'm a black individual, and we're just going to be dealing with race wars and race riots and George Floyd's over and over and over again for eternity. That's basically what the race hustlers are instilling in people, and I believe is wrong.
That's the message that I think we ought to be sending to kids. One of the worries that I have about the way that we're talking about race is that it either seems so big that somehow white people now have to feel guilty for everything that happened in the past. I don't think that's very productive. Or black people have to feel disempowered by race. I would like black kids to be completely empowered, to know that they are beautiful in their blackness, but in order to do that, I don't have to make white kids feel bad for being white. So somehow this is a conversation that has gone in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is something that I don't think is okay. I mean, there's literally stories about white kids apologizing for their ancestors' actions, right? Like, things have gone bananas.
My parents never thought I was going to grow up in a world without prejudice, but they also told me that's somebody else's problem, not yours. You're going to overcome it, and you are going to be anything you want to be. And that's the message that I think we ought to be sending to kids. One of the worries that I have about the way that we're talking about race, it goes back to how we teach the history.
That's what I'm saying.
We teach the good and we teach the bad of history.
Yep,
but what we don't do is make 7- and 10-year-olds feel that they are somehow bad people because of the color of their skin. We've been through that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we don't need to do that again.
Absolutely, but this is something that the woke far leftist types, especially the race hustlers of the country, want to do. They want to make money off this. They want to milk this, and the demand is much higher than the supply of racism in America. That's why you got people like Juicy Smollett making up stories.
One night, he was in Chicago late at night and was the victim of a racist and homophobic attack. What they didn't understand, that this nigga was clearly lying.
Carly Russell, she was kidnapped by a white dude with a bald spot on his head. Like, these people make stuff up because they don't have any real stories to go off of. So they make up these sympathetic stories. It's totally ridiculous. And it's one of those things where it's like somehow, some way, the black trauma that exists in this country has literally poisoned people's minds, where if they don't experience that, they literally have to concoct a story saying, hey, I experienced it. Everybody feels sorry for me, feel bad for me. The racists are after me, even though nothing even happened.
Yeah.
In Cupertino, California, in an elementary school, third graders are instructed to rank themselves based on their power and their privilege. California's Department of Education is proposing to eliminate opportunities for accelerated math in the name of equity. In Greenwich, a white bias survey is handed out to 7th grade English class. A New York private school is separating by race, gender, and ethnicity. White identifying group met with a white consultant who displayed a slide that named supposed characteristics of white supremacy. An equity statement from the school district of Palm Beach County outlined the initiative dismantling structures rooted in white advantage. It's happening across the country.
Well, but again, if you have a teacher, history is going to be taught.
Yeah, absolutely.
History is
and
going
it
to
should
be taught. And as we were talking earlier, you know, when you go to Texas, you talk to Mexican kids who feel like crap because they're being told they're less than because of the Alamo. The whole idea of teaching history is so we don't repeat it. So I think that if you're a good teacher, you don't teach to make a white kid feel bad. Right. You're supposed to say, listen, you didn't do any of this, but you should know what happened.
I have to
and make sure. That's right.
See, it's rare here because even Whoopi Goldberg knows that these messages are wrong. These messages are stupid.
Along with black kids and Native American kids and all the colors that be in school.
I have no problem with letting people know what happened.
Yes.
But let's remember, history is complex. Right?
It is.
Human beings aren't angels now, and they weren't angels in the past.
No.
And so how we teach about our history is also important.
But you have to, there's no way to hide the fact that white people owned black people. There's no way to hide that.
And I think that's been the issue, that there's been this sort of rollback of history. People want to hide history.
Oh, I don't.
And,
come
yeah.
What?
Fool, slap yourself 3 times.
Yes, that is true.
45 seconds, guys.
And what we are seeing is this rollback of history. Parents don't want children to hear about the real history.
It says who, Sonny? When have you seen that? There's a lot of parents who watch this channel who has seen history, black history being hidden. Do you feel like your history should be hidden, including the black history, the slavery, Jim Crow, so forth? I've literally never heard that. Sonny is literally just making it up. Might there be like somebody out there somewhere? There's always some crazy person who feels some sort of way. But it's like, Sonny, what are you talking about? This is not something that is a normal thing that you see anywhere propagated. This other lady just had examples of things. Sonny's just making something up off the top of her head.
And when we teach children about the real history, I think that is when we will really have true racial reconciliation.
People are being taught the true history. But I just have to say one more thing. It goes back to how we teach the history.
That's what I'm saying.
We teach the good and we teach the bad of history.
That's the idea.
That doesn't seem to be
That doesn't seem to be part of the plan.
Oh, it is part of the plan.
I mean, you know,
sorry.
in Germany, they teach the Holocaust to every student.
Of course.
I met a German girl
we
one
teach
time.
slavery to
and
every student.
A school trip is a trip to Auschwitz or Dachau.
Yes.
They learn about their history, and there are not two sides to the story.
We all have to learn about our history, but
Yes.
we also have
I
to
don't see what there are two sides to every
recognize that we have to
There's
live
not two
together,
sides.
and we're going to do better living together
We're gonna go.
if we don't make each other feel good.
Right, we already have Black History Month. Everything's covered in Black History Month. It's not like Black History Month is going away. It's not like they're removing Black history from the textbooks. Okay, critical race theory is a whole nother topic. Like, for those who don't know, for anybody who's watching this video up to this point who doesn't agree with this topic or doesn't understand this topic, critical race theory isn't Black history. It is critical race theory. It's exactly what the words say. So it's all kinds of different topics and theories related to all sorts of different racial topics, including racial discrimination and the impact of being a different race in various different types of societies and all the different impacts that it could potentially have, both from an economic and social point of view. I think that if you're white, your life's going to be different from a Black person. Same thing if you're Asian, your life's going to be different from if you're Indian, right? That doesn't mean that inherently, throw your hands in the air, like life's going to be miserable. Life is just going to be great and easy and simple for the whites, and it's just going to be hard and tough. And the most challenging thing ever for the Blacks is a defeatist mindset. It's silly and it's really dumb. It's wrong. And anyone who has the will and the strength and the support system to achieve what they want to achieve and a vision can absolutely do it. I love Condoleezza Rice's message, and the fact that people have some sort of issue with this, especially Black people, is really disheartening. It is disconcerting, including Sunny Hostin. I think these people don't have a damn clue what they're talking about, and they need to freaking check themselves, because Black people and anybody in America, especially in this great nation, can do whatever we want to do if we put our mind to it. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
It feels worse now when we're talking about race, or it just feels like a divisive environment.
It sure doesn't feel worse than when I grew up in Jim Crow, Alabama. Okay, so let's drop this notion that we're worse at race relations today than we were in the past. Really? That means we've made no progress? Really?